prioress is a woman who is head of a house of certain orders of nuns. She is the next rank below an abbess. This occupation tells us that in this time period religion was very important to the people. Her social ranking was very high. Her daily life would include her being dedicated to worship, reading, praying, or meditating, caring for others, and spending a lot of time in the church. Chaucer didn't really include the daily duties of a nun. He just talked about how she looked and how she was so sensitive. He didn't include how old she was or any other personal information besides her name. A modern-day occupation corresponding with a prioress would be a nun, considering we still have nuns today. It starts with a prioress who has a sweet and modest smile. She was very friendly and easy to get along with. She sang songs through her nose and spoke French. She had very good manners and ate in small portions of bites, so none of the food would fall out of her mouth or make a mess. She was one of the people that felt very strongly for others and was very sensitive. She would burst into cheers if she saw a mouse caught in a trap, and she cared very much for others. She was extremely tender-hearted, and she was also described as very elegant and pretty. Her physical description is shown in lines 155 through 166. It describes the clothes she wears and how elegant her facial features are, and the brooch she wears, which translates to love conquers all. Her personality lines are shown in 145 through 154. It describes how sensitive she is and how she cares for everything. Specific words that remind us of this character are manners, steadily, clean, pleasant, grace, sentiment, and courtliness. We believe Chaucer is using this character to make fun of the church. Nuns aren't supposed to be lustful, and Madame Eglantine wears a pin that translates to love conquers all. There are still people around like Madame Eglantine. Back in May of 2013, there were 3 women arrested for trying to smuggle drugs through an airport. We use this as our example because just by looking at them, you would think they were extremely religious nuns. This is like Madame Eglantine. She wasn't really nun-like. She looked like a nun, but she thought just like everyone else.
Hey, it's Franklin, coming over to play, growing a little every day. Here he comes with all his friends. They've got stories, got time to spend with you.
Part 1. Occupation, landowner. The text tells us that he likes to be other things and entertain people. Social standing, middle class. His daily life would include some form of entertaining or making people happy. He had a lot of hospitality, so he probably entertained and served a lot of people throughout the day to please them. Chaucer provided no personal information or even if he had a real job or not. Part 1 continued. Modern day occupation, foster parents. Because he helped a lot of people, he had an open door policy, and people could come in his house whenever they wanted to. Part 2, a man with a white beard. He believes that happiness is the most important thing, so he has all the best food and he lives for pleasure. He always has his table ready for dining. He had a dagger on his side and a white silk purse. Physical descriptions are on page 342, 367, and 368. They are a white beard, dagger, and silk purse. Specific words are on page 343, 345, and 370. San Juan lived for pleasure and model. We do not believe he was making fun because it didn't say anything bad. It was just said that he was a people pleaser. We don't think this was used for satire because they weren't picking on him. Part 4, we believe Dolly Parton is the modern day equivalent. She is charitable and a people pleaser.
Part 1. Occupation. Providing supplies for 30-plus masters, purchasing food, teaching others how to live with their means. What does this tell us? They were like slaves, social standing, lower class. Daily life. Provides supplies for the 30-plus masters, he purchases food, and he teaches others how to live within their means. What isn't included about this character? Physical appearance, attitude, and personal information. Part 2. Paraphrase. Municipal enters a temple. It shows that he is very careful with his money and he always on time. If not ahead, it also says that he can surpass the legit lawyers, but he is self-taught and has to serve 30 masters. he could show up any of them. Physical appearance lines. The physical appearance isn't described by Chaucer. Specific words: gentle, wise, careful, wisdom. Part 3. Making fun. Yes, it says that he could show up any of his masters and makes fun of the lawyers. Part 4. Modern day occupation. Quartermaster, a military officer in charge of providing quarters, rations, clothing, and other supplies.